What's up, y'all? It's your girl Amanda, and we are back with another episode of Mandy's Entertainment Reviews. So, for this episode, we are reviewing Reality Check America's Next Top Model. So, for this episode, for this documentary, if you will, the platform that it came out on was on Netflix, and it actually came out in February of 2026. So, it just probably came out within the past 2 weeks ago. So it was a three-part documentary. So my thoughts of this documentary, it took me like a few hours to watch this. So I want to start, like I've never done this before. I want to start with a quote from Danny, who was a contestant on um the show. And she says that the intentions of Tyra were good, but that shit got lost. Now, the documentary was great as it held my attention. It was interesting. You learned a lot. Very colorful because it is a Netflix production. You know, Netflix always have colorful productions. Just got to have that pop of color on your 4K TVs. And it was always good to see the contestants post show, see how they're doing, see if they're holding up, doing well. But at the end of the day, Tyra Banks, F her, and she cannot be trusted. And I will get into why. So, as you guys know, I do my reviews and know, want to know, and learn. So, what do I know is that America's Next Top Model used to come on UPN. UPN was on air from like the mid 90s till I was about maybe 9 years old, 2004, 2005. And then what happened was the CW merged together, and with I think it was UPN and WGN, I want to say. They merged together, created this new network that aimed, I guess, towards like teenage shows. I remember what was used to come on Beverly Hills 90210, like the remake, and all these like little teen boppy shows used to come on. And the girlfriends came over to CW too, but they didn't they lasted until like 2008. So yeah, so it came on during that era. Um, in the past few years, people were watching the show. It really did put Tyra in a bad light of seeing what she did to people. Women sacrificed their natural beauty for being on the show, so sometimes Tyra would make them shave their hair or, get hair extensions, just change who they are, basically. And people called it a humiliation ritual. So there was the prize if you won America's Next Top Model, the prize was $100,000 and a contract with Revlon, I believe, and also a modeling agency. I think it was Wilhelmina. And this show also launched the careers of Eva Marcel, aka Eva Pickford, aka Eva Sterling, who was on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, but before that she did a few acting roles and stuff. And then there was Takara. She used to host shows on BET. I think she used to host like the Rip the Runway and stuff with the plus size models, and also Yaya DaCosta. So if you don't know who Yaya DaCosta is, if you guys remember the Whitney movie that came out on Lifetime, and she also did this other movie that just came out. It's about this young lady. She she I think it's Not My Mother, Not My Life, or something like that. Yeah, so she was on that movie too. I think that came on Lifetime. Let's see what else. Adrienne Curry, she won season one. Adrienne Curry is actually from Joliet. I don't like Adrienne Curry. She's just a mess to me. The We Were All Rooting for You, that scene, that's where it comes from, America's Next Top Model. Miss J was the judge on the show. Or Miss J was a runway coach. And later, like towards the end of America's Next Top Model, like what recently came out like a few years ago, they started having like male contestants on the show. So, what do I want to know is I don't have a lot of questions because honestly, I wasn't a fan of America's Next Top Model. I just chose not to watch it. I was really young. I've seen like some episodes and some parts of it, just I didn't really care for it. But this was a good documentary and I learned a lot. So what do I want to know is where did the idea of the show come from? How much involvement did Tyra really have? Why did Tyra do the BS that she did? Did anybody confront her on the street? Like, Tyra's always in New York City, so it's like she's walking down the street. Did any like brave New Yorker get in her face and be like, yo, why did you do that? Blah, 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 blah. I wonder. Did it clash with her talk show? Because if you guys don't remember, Tyra had America's Next Top Model, but then she also had a daytime talk show. Here it used to come on, I think WPWR, I think. It was one of those channels. It wasn't like on ABC, Fox, none of those, but it was on one of the other local channels. Were the judges paid fairly? What happened to most of the contestants? And lastly, why did she decide to add male contestants towards the end? So, as I always say, my learned may or may not answer the questions that I have, but it's what I learned. So, what did I learn first? That there was a Switch Ethnicities episode. Um, I don't know why there was, because even in 2026, there is a controversy with blackface. So, switch ethnicities, I think, basically meant like the white contestants had to wear blackface and all that stuff. And did she not know that people still stress this issue about that? I was like kind of embarrassed that she went along with it, and the way they presented it was like, yeah, you're gonna do the switch ethnicities. It's just like you didn't cringe? You didn't cringe? Oh Lord. Um, People were binging America's Next Top Model during COVID, which really woke people up. So during COVID, like a lot of people were stuck in the house. Like we couldn't leave. Well, I mean, we could leave to like get some fresh air and stuff, but we couldn't like go to normal places. We couldn't get our hair done. We couldn't go to the gym and stuff like that. So we stayed inside most of the time binge watching shows. And I guess people started watching America's Next Top Model. It started watching through the eyes of the 2020s of, I guess, waking up and seeing what was right and what was wrong. um, Tyra revealed in the documentary she was told no a lot because she was black and paid less, which I understand, being a black model in any type of entertainment business, sometimes there is some sort of like discrimination. So that wasn't surprising. Um, the idea of America's Next Top Model just hit her. She wanted to do a show for all types of beauty. So that was the original plan. Yeah, the original plan for all types of beauty. Yeah, okay. So it also had the American Idol plus Real World format, which that didn't hit me until someone said it. So American Idol, we all know you show your talent. America votes for you, and if you get eliminated, you leave, right? Real World. Real World, a bunch of strangers live in one house. They do all these challenges, and I don't remember if people got kicked off. I used to watch Real World back in the like 2000s. I don't remember anyone getting kicked off, but they all lived in one house. So, yeah, it was that together, but I don't think nobody really voted, like called in to vote for the contestants. I think all the voting or like the elimination and judging and stuff was left up to Tyra and the judges. So it was that format, which makes perfect sense. Jay Manuel was her makeup artist, and Jay Alexander taught her how to walk. Tyra went to the four major networks at first, and she got turned down. So she went to CBS, ABC, NBC, and Fox. CBS, I don't think would do a good job with America's Next Top Model. CBS to me is conservative. Like they want to show not super conservative TV, but like, kind of geared towards family friendly. NBC is newsy, like it doesn't feel newsy. ABC is, Disney, so family friendly. And Fox, I think they were transitioning from like the sitcom era to like the sports era, so of course that would not have worked. So when she went to go audition for UPN, she had an unusual audition and she started acting like Miss J, which I think got her the part, or not the part, but like the spot um on UPN. So the first season, early America's Next Top Model, is seen genuine. Like, they showed a lot of, ups and downs and crazy stuff. If you guys don't know, on Twitter, there is a GIF of a young lady. She was fake crying at first, and then when she got chose, she straightened up. That was Ebony from America's Next Top Model. I didn't know that. I always wonder every time I see it, and every time I used it on like Twitter, I'm like, where did this come from? It was Ebony being chosen to be on America's Next Top Model. Les Moonves didn't want a Latino on the show, so that just goes to show that he was a racist, a prejudiced person, if you will. The apartment on the first season was really a hotel, which would have fooled me because that really does look like a full-blown apartment that like Tyra Banks or somebody would live in the heart of New York City. So when with that, it made me wonder. Let's go back to making the band with Day 26 and Danny D. Kane and them. So that apartment they lived in, was that a hotel as well? I wonder that. Like, did he put them in a hotel like Tyra did? And speaking of the quote unquote apartment hotel, so actually Tyra was sitting in the control room watching them. Strange, right? Just strange. Like, if something went down, call the lady. Don't have her in a control room watching it. That's so weird. Like, did she see everything? Even them, like, changing clothes? Like, what did she see exactly? I just found that to be strange. One young lady, she did a Brazilian wax on national TV. I honestly think when you get a Brazilian wax, that's something that should be kept private. Even though it didn't really show nothing, but it's just, something should be kept private. Um, Jay Manuel and Alexander were close. They still are. They were on the Sherry Shepherd show recently. But the homophobics of America, there is a certain demographic. They didn't like seeing them on TV. Why? Because they're homophobic. They didn't want to see that, but they weren't even, you know, they were just being themselves. Like they weren't even doing anything. People are just homophobic and weird. Um, I could be wrong when I say this, but Ebony, I felt like she was outed on America's Next Top Model. Tyra, I guess, called her in a room and said, "Hey, Ebony, you're a lesbian," and all that stuff. Like, why did people need to know what was going on in her personal life? But then her girlfriend actually ended up coming to visit her and stuff. But Tyra didn't have to like pull her in a room and say, "Oh, you're a lesbian. Can you represent?" Blah blah blah. No, the girlfriend should have still come and visit her, but Tyra didn't have to say that to her. And maybe I don't know if she gave permission to even for her to mention that. Like, just let her be her. You don't have to put her on camera and say what she is. Um, Janice Dickens was a complete a-hole to the girls in all seasons, in my opinion. Uh, Tyra sent Shannon flowers, which told her, um, Shannon was the runner-up of the first season. She sent Shannon flowers and told her to come to New York, and where she actually did get signed. So that is a part of the early America's Next Top Model that seemed genuine, and she really wanted to help these girls and all that stuff. Because even though she was a runner-up, you know, she still got a chance to get signed and stuff. Alrighty, so another next part, Tyra went to chat rooms after the show's premiere to see what the people were talking about. Yeah, that's how I know I'm getting old because I do remember chat rooms. And this was probably like 2003, 2004-ish. And back then, I think the time was MySpace, and MySpace did have chat rooms, so she was probably in those MySpace chat rooms. Um, I think the producers really ruined the ladies' experience, like just by starting drama, because that's what producers do in any reality TV show. If you guys watch Love and Hip Hop, in the beginning, it wasn't that, I don't think that was the issue, but then like in the later episodes or the later seasons, it's very clear that the producers is starting this drama. So producers just ruin these ladies' experience. They're from probably middle America or some small working class town, and they go in and they have this, they want to experience this, but these shisty producers, they're just ruining these ladies' experience because they want to start drama like in high school. Um, One of the top stylists ruined Ebony's hair. I think Ebony was just straight up bullied on the show, and that does not make me happy. They ruined Ebony's hair. They used the wrong clippers on her, and they gave her bald spots. If y'all are a stylist and you claim to be one of the top stylists in the world, or at least in the country or the show business or whatever, you should know which clippers to use, which style of head she has, just all that stuff. But you ruined Ebony's hair. And they called her ashy. I just wanted to give Ebony a big hug. I did. I wanted to give Ebony a big hug. Like, they made it hell for her, and it should not have been that way, honestly. And Ebony's on the documentary herself, and she is so gorgeous. I loved her hair. She had like you know how you have box braids or something, and then you like kind of braid it up, but then the rest of it's like poofed out. It was just gorgeous. I would totally rock that hairstyle. Like, she was just so beautiful, and her skin was just so flawless too. I don't know why they call her ashy. Also, Ebony and Giselle were publicly embarrassed to a point where they couldn't get jobs. Just disgusting. How dare they do that to them? And Giselle was gorgeous as well. I loved her hair. Um, America's Next Top Model had casting call commercials. I've never seen any of them on TV, and I live in one of the biggest cities in the country. Um, the budget grew for season two, and they ended up having a soundstage and a military walkway, which, yeah, that's some budget they have through UPN, because UPN was one of the biggest channels behind the four major networks because of their popularity with like black sitcoms and stuff like that. Janet Dickinson, she offended me, I took some great offense to that regarding the Takara weight loss comment. Like, she basically said Takara needs to lose some weight, and Takara was gorgeous, and she still is. The last time I saw Takara, she was on I think the 85 South show, and she was doing like an interview with Carlos Miller, and she looked so beautiful. She was beautiful, and she don't need to lose no weight. Janet Dickinson's just a freaking dickhead. That's what she is. Some of the contestants had hard lives before America's Next Top Model, so I guess they were also looking for like that opportunity to kind of boost them in the world, if you know what I mean. Get them some opportunities. Season two was when they went abroad to Milan. And Shandi was this young lady. She worked at Walgreens, and she got on America's Next Top Model, and her storyline, or not storyline, but her situation on America's Next Top Model was known because she was essayed on film. And what was Tyra Banks's reaction to it? It's difficult to talk about production. It's not my territory. Woman, you are the executive producer and creator of the show. If that's not a part of production, I don't know what is. And that's not my territory. Yes, it is. You started the show. This is all your territory. So, and then what happened with Shandi was after this essay, the cameras filmed her, and she was basically calling her boyfriend, I think she was from Kansas, calling her boyfriend back home, telling him that she cheated. She really didn't. She was essayed. The whole thing was just messed up. And so then there was like a little gathering that Tyra did with her and the other girls and Shandi, and she started talking about cheating. Messy, messy and wrong and nasty. And okay, so she did that, and then Shandi told her boyfriend, and then the crew apologized for filming it. That's not good enough for me. And they even filmed her going to the doctor after her essay, which I thought was disgusting. Some things just should not be filmed, and oh, it's for TV, it's for TV. Yeah, but some people sometimes need to use their brain. People need to use their brain. They did mention like Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson regulated what could be shown on TV. I don't want to get into that because that's neither here nor there. But let's get back into the documentary. So, after the popularity of America's Next Top Model, there was international versions of the show, and I also wonder with that, did Tyra get like any type of residual or get paid from that if there's like a international version of her show that she created? And also, because I've never seen anything international from America's Next Top Model, did they like have the same rules and stuff, or what was their platform like? That's what I wondered. Let's see. Tyra faked fainting to tell the girls they were studying acting. Tyra, honestly, there was another way to do that. You could have like showed them a short film or something, a mime film, but no, you just had to be weird about it. So they did a photo shoot with real homeless people. And I thought that that was jacked up because, some of these homeless people, they just be minding their business, trying to stay warm for the night, trying to find food for the night. And here you go, bringing these people to take photos and all this crew and stuff. Did you at least give them money and food to eat while you invaded their homes? That's what I wanted to know. Mm-mm. The president of UPN did not use her moral compass. Very straightforward, need I say more? And what did I put here? Didn't think, should I or should I not air this? If your stomach says no, don't air this, then no, don't air it. It's not that hard. But no, people want to be greedy and make money and stuff and make other people look bad. Mm-mm. And then as the seasons went on, they went on and added on dental work. Then this young lady named Joni, she had her teeth removed on national TV, which I think is something that should be private. Even though it's teeth, it should be still private. They gave Danny, the young lady I quoted in the beginning, hell because she didn't want to close her gap. And she ended up closing it after Tyra, I don't want to say threatened her, but basically, oh, well, yeah, threatened to take her opportunity away if she didn't close her gap. Like, what? There are naturally beautiful people with gaps, and you're threatening to take this opportunity away from her because she's not doing what you want her to do. Freaking weirdo. Now, there's a photographer on there named Nigel Barker, and he said it was fine. Like, he had no problem with her gap, but I guess Tyra made a big fuss about it. And then, what's also petty? So, after Ebony caught the win that she was not going to close her gap, another season later, a woman's gap was actually created. So, you take one thing from someone that's a part of them, but then you make someone else get a gap. Weirdo. Anyway, moving on from that, Tyra claims she apologized for Danny's situation. I don't believe her. And the models were underfed and overworked, and it showed medical emergencies. That is true because a lot of those models on there were skinny, passing out, needed water, all that stuff. And it should not be that way. Honestly, I'm not a model, but it should not be that way. And nobody should sacrifice their health to be on some stupid TV show ran by some stupid lady, in my opinion. Um, and the next point I want to make is the tasteless photos. So, for example, a young lady on there, Dion, she was posing as if she was shot in the head. Her mother was shot and is currently paralyzed. Disgusting. Just disgusting because that could have been triggering for her. Or it was triggering for her. Why would you choose that for someone who's been through that in her family? Just disgusting. And Jay Manuel didn't want to do the race swapping. He felt uncomfortable, as he should have, because race swapping is basically blackface. And whenever anyone do blackface, it's like it is an uproar, and nobody should be doing that. When it comes to the race swapping, Tyra didn't think it was controversial, and she didn't see something wrong with it until years later. Tyra, you bird brain lady. Tyra got a brain of a bird. Like, it's a shame. Like, I used to look up to Tyra, not like in anything career-wise, but like, oh my God, Tyra Banks, this black model. She's one of the first black models to do anything, blah, blah, blah. I don't look at her like that anymore after watching this documentary. She's a freaking bird brain lady. Like, she has a bird brain. Like, this. You didn't see something wrong with it until years later. No, you should have seen something wrong with it the day you did it, in my opinion. Um, and she told Kenya, I guess something was going on, and she said that she couldn't change the rules. Woman, you created the show. You could change the rules, bend the rules, switch the rule. You could do whatever you want. You created the show, so you could change the rules. And they used to give Kenya hell with editing her eating. For example, she said that they made it look like she was eating multiple bagels, but she was only eating one. Like, yeah, that. Mm-mm. She probably shouldn't even been filmed eating, honestly, because if they were gonna do that, they should not have filmed her eating. Tyra is a hypocrite. Now, she went on her talk show, Empowering America's Next Top Model. Now, y'all remember that episode she came out, she was wearing that swimsuit, and she was saying, well, you could kiss my big fat, you know what? But then she was basically talking about weight loss and keeping the weight down on America's Next Top Model. Hmm? What? You say one thing and you go do another. Maybe her talk show needed views or something. It wasn't a bad talk show. I know that talk show was not doing bad at all. Like it got some views, I guess. They used to have like all types of celebrities on there. Little Bow Wow performed on there and all that stuff. Like, come on now. Whitney Thompson was discriminated against as a size 10. No fitting clothes. Let me tell y'all something. A size 10 is skinny. Like, I would love to be a size 10. I'm a size 15, 14 now. I would love to be a size 10. That is small. Like, why y'all discriminating against her for being a size 10? She's small too. Women develop eating disorders from the show. I just wish that, like, did people write to the show or something and say, I have an eating disorder, blah, blah, blah. And if that happened, then, you know, they should have pulled the plug on the show a long time ago, honestly. They had another sexual harassment incident with Kenya and Bertini. So Bertini was a male model. He was trying to get a little handsy with her, and Kenya um, she wasn't comfortable. So what she did was she actually spoke up. She stopped the shoot, but production did not protect her. They just basically was like, "You're being unprofessional. Please don't do that right now." Blah 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 blah. So they didn't protect her, which was messed up. So they used phone the photo and during like I guess the panel time where they determine who gets eliminated, they used the photo that she was uncomfortable in, which was a smack in the face, I swear. That is a smack in the face to Kenya. Um, Tyra was trying to empower her and the execs didn't know. Wait, what? First of all, Tyra and the execs should be communicating on every little thing regarding this show because the execs of the network have to put out this content, right? This TV show. So they should have been working hand in hand. That don't make no sense either. Oh, they didn't know. Or either they're playing dumb. Uh-uh. Jay Manuel, he tried to leave as the show changed. So he started growing a brain and was like, okay, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm going to leave. So, and also this is the part where Tiffany comes into play. So Tyra was actually rooting for Tiffany because she helped her get like anger management and stuff. She was making, oh, okay. Here we go. So when Tyra yelled at Tiffany, this is what I saw, right? Tyra was yelling at Tiffany, so Tiffany got it eliminated. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. She goes over to the young ladies who were over there. They're crying, they're giving her a hug, and Tiffany was smiling at them to make them feel better. That's what I saw, in my opinion. So then Tyra just was like, oh, you think this is a joke, blah, 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 blah. So basically, Tyra got on her for no reason, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. That's what I saw. So Tyra was basically yelling at her because she had some stuff going on in her head and her heart or whatever. And Jay Manuel said that more stuff was said, and then the show lawyers came on the set the next day, and I'm like, ooh, I wonder what was said. Where's the unreleased footage? That's what I want to know. Um, so Jay Manuel, going back to Jay Manuel quitting, he sent Tyra a resignation email, and she responded with, "I am disappointed." Well, yeah, because your show is changing and don't nobody really want to be a part of it. And then after that, all communication stopped and lawyers were involved. And he was forced to do Cycle 9. And during that season, I guess seasons are called Cycle, Tyra wouldn't really talk to him outside of cameras when the cameras were rolling, and she was being fake to him. That's how I know she's too big for her britches now. This stupid show grows, and she's getting too big for her britches. And now Jay Manuel gets demoted to camera talent. Demoted to camera talent. Um, Also, so we all see the eliminated contestants on the show. You would think, okay, you're eliminated off the show. You go home. Well, the eliminated contestants, they don't go home. They go to from the model's apartment, they go from that to a hotel, and they stay there until the end of the season is over, until they decide the winner. So basically, it's just like jury duty when you're sequestered. Nobody needs to live like that. What, I don't know if there was like TV and all that stuff, but they were basically sequestered and they couldn't go right home, which sucked. Um, In later cycles, contestants couldn't get work because they were looked at as reality TV shows in some instances. Um, Whitney Thompson, who won a cycle, her modeling agency didn't have a plus section, so that was awful. Danny, who won one of the cycles, had a cold interaction with the agency. No castings. She lived with Chanel Iman. And if you guys don't remember who Chanel Iman is, she used to date A$AP Rocky, and she had a baby with that guy from the New York Giants. And she went to meetings and she asked for Danny, like, why is she not getting casted? And they basically said that she came from Top Model and she is viewed as a reality star. So that was my example. And in this day and age, starting from during that time, if you're viewed from a reality, you're viewed as a reality star, you are kind of viewed as trouble. So yeah, they didn't want a reality star. They wanted a real model. And she was a real model. She just had her training on TV. So back to the Tyra Banks talk show. She invited past contestants on the show, and she did the most nastiest thing ever. She showed Shandy her incident where she was essayed and she lost her boyfriend, and she was still working at Walgreens during the time. And I thought that that was disgusting. Just disgusting. Let me be honest with y'all. As the episodes went by, because it was only 3 parts, the more and more that I was disgusted with Tyra Banks. Because, like, WTF, why? Why? So the head of network changed. So by this time it was CW, and Jay Alexander, Nigel, and Jay Manuel was fired. And what was messed up was Jay Alexander was fired 5 days after his birthday. And they made Jay work more cycles the more he really didn't want to do it. So then they did an interview with HSN. HSN was real big back in the day when cable news was popping. And when they were interviewing, they could see like the awkwardness between them because they had just gotten fired. And so after they left, Cycle 19 started and they showed the promo for it. It was real cheesy. I felt recycled and desperate because they started like just taking contestants from everywhere, the United Kingdom, college, the fans being the judges. It just seemed desperate. Now you're just pulling ideas out your butt. With those ideas, the ratings declined, and it turned into a big mess. So then they fired Tyra as the host and they brought in Rita Ora. And this was when Rita Ora was just started. Like, not a lot of people knew who Rita Ora was. So altogether, 24 cycles. But it was more cycles after the top three left. So Nigel, he went on to work with Miss Universe, Miss USA, and Taylor Swift. Jay worked for E. He wrote a book and he has a cosmetic company. I do remember seeing Jay Manuel's Instagram page. She's doing very well these days. Miss J worked at SCAD for 15 years. He was on the International America's or Next Top Model, but sadly he had a stroke in 2022, where he is still trying to rehab from that as well. Um, Two more things I found out is that Tyra still hasn't visited Jay. And how are you someone's friend and you love them and you haven't visited them and they had something as serious as a stroke? Like that's just a terrible friend. And you've known them since you were a teenager. Just terrible. And lastly, she says there's going to be a cycle 25, but honestly, I want to know, what channel is it going to be on? Who allowed this to happen? And I bet you with this document. So I got cut off. Sorry, y'all. But just to wrap up this video, um, I give this documentary a 5 out of 5 on production. Colorful, everybody was there, everybody looked great, but 1 out of 5 on the information that I learned. And Tyra Banks cannot be trusted. That's what I learned. F Tyra Banks. I look at her in a completely different light with this documentary. So yeah, she's not a favorite in my book right now. What I liked about the documentary is that Jay Alexander looks stylish. The contestants who are on the show, they look beautiful with their makeup and their clothes. Jay Alexander's sense of humor was still there despite the stroke. The contestants are doing well. They are doing what they want to do in life. Um, what I disliked was Tyra showing her face, probably lying. Um, Ebony's experience on the show broke my heart. Janice Dickinson, F her too. Shondi's story with America's Next Top Model, I want to give her a hug. How they decided that they're going to document everything, boo. And hearing how Jay Alexander's stroke affected him made me sad. So yeah, no more America's Next Top Model on TV, please. And that's my review. Peace.